I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of those
happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go home.
It's just one of those days where you don't wanna wake up. Everything sucks. You don't really know why, but you wanna justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet,
Just knock it off, you scum bucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to make stand.
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with the blood stain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better cause I'm fucking up your program. And if you're stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all about it.
Happy days.
It's just one of those,
Happy days.
it's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to make stand.
Feel like shit. My suggestion is keep your distance. Right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
My day keeps going this way and this way.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I like a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here,
Not Robert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 124 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. How's everyone doing this fine Monday evening? Yes, I don't normally stream on a Monday, but there's a good reason why I didn't stream yesterday. So I was going to stream, but I was spending quality time with my grandparents over the weekend. So I thought, well, I might as well just spend time with them as I can, and then I'll do the episode for Monday, which of course will be right here, right now. So I want to have a look and see who's in the chat just now, and then we'll get started. Let me see. Kingdom of Vinland is with us. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Promethean hails Chief. Well, thank you very much. English Rose is with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Gamma Sandwich is in the chat. Hello, I'm back. Hope everyone is well. Well, everyone is doing well, Gamma Sandwich, but I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for appearing in the chat for Mood of the Nation tonight. Steve Shaw is with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Well, that's my message. I'll bring that up in a short second here. October is with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Let me see here. Steve Double M. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Exiled. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Let me see here. Has everybody signed with Withdraw the UK from ECHR petition? I've not seen that, to be quite honest, but it'll be maybe interesting to have a look into. But let's see. English Weather is with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. And finally, so far, Peter Walker is in the chat with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Right, so there's about, it keeps changing from time to time, but currently there's 10 people watching the show already, which is pretty good. There was 11, maybe 12. Hopefully more people will come along as the show goes on, but we'll see. We'll definitely wait and see with that. Woodlander's in the chat with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation, as always. Like I said, hopefully more people will be coming along. I did share the stream on Telegram round about, I think it was maybe about after 2 o'clock-ish, that kind of time. But again, hopefully more people will turn up. We'll definitely wait and see with that. So anyway, so I gave my update as to why the show was postponed from yesterday to today. I got that out of the way. Well, I also mentioned this just now. So I'm going to go back to using Entropy, folks. I just want to make sure if Entropy is still live, and it looks like it is. That's grand. Excellent. So I've mentioned before that Ko-fi is no longer the platform to use in terms of receiving donations from my followers, due to the fact that apparently I broke some community guidelines for whatever that term might be. Never mind the fact that, of course, I've not, well, to me anyway, I've not broken any community guidelines. They've not given me an email to confirm this or anything like that at all. They never even given me like an actual reason or like a more detailed explanation as to what exactly did I break regarding to that. So, which is quite bizarre. But anyway, so I'm no longer using Coffee. With that being said, I'm no longer going to be using PayPal due to the fact of where they stand when it comes to free speech. So again, not going to be using that whatsoever. It's still open, but like I said, I'm not going to be using it anytime soon at this point in time. What I will be using, on the other hand, now this is me being a complete utter idiot. I've finally figured out how to work Entropy without using DLive. And I never even asked Ayatollah how he did it regarding to this, but I've always tried to use Entropy, but I always keep saying that you would definitely need to use DLive to work with it. Well, there's two options on Entropy. So there's either a custom link you could do that would obviously all to do with DLive, but then there's the other option, which if it's linked so if you sign into your YouTube account on Entropy, it will automatically link to the stream you've set up on StreamYard, which I was like, oh, excellent. So I could definitely see that Entropy is working at the moment and it's going ahead, which is really good to see. So with that, folks, I would definitely say I will definitely be using Entropy from now on in terms of for people asking me questions, and I'll answer them towards the end of the show, as all the other PA-related shows normally do. And of course, if you want to send me donations through Entropy, you could definitely do so on that. Again, please don't feel obligated as if you have to do that. Of course, if you want to do that, it's entirely up to yourself. If you want to send me any kind of donation through Entropy, I'm sure there may be still like an option on there anyway with that. And again, even if you want to ask me any questions, be it paid or unpaid questions, I would advise. This is something that I'm going to be doing from now on. I would definitely say input your questions in the Entropy chat just now, and I'll answer them towards the end of the show. You could definitely see the Entropy link. I've just pinned it in the chat just now on the YouTube chat. So again, if you want to ask me any questions, be it paid or unpaid questions, just feel free to ask them right away. And then, like I said, towards the end of the show, maybe the last half an hour, maybe last 20 minutes or so, I'll answer them towards the end of the show tonight. And then, of course, I'm going to be finishing at 7 o'clock tonight because, of course, it's been Monday at 7. That's the time slot for Tea Time with Sam and Laura, and I believe they're going to be airing their 69th episode, I think it is. So by the time the show ends tonight, head on over to DLive or Odyssey and then watch Tea Time with Sam and Laura. So let's have a look here and see just now. There's one other thing I was going to mention, but I thought I would just mention Entropy just now. I just want to keep checking to see if Entropy is still working, which it looks like it is. So that's going good so far. It's really good so far. Excellent. I see more people coming in the chat just now, which is really good to see. So hopefully it's going to be building more and more. Because even I posted another post on Telegram just now, just to let people know that, hey, Mood of the Nation is live now. So if you want to check it out, then check it out for yourselves if you guys want to. So we also have Amanda Lee in the chat. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Who else just came in the chat? James Smith is in the chat. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. And I think that's really it so far, at least from what I can see in the chat so far. Most of the other chat messages are from people just responding to each other. And I just seen English Rose posted the Odyssey link for Tea Time with Sam and Laura. Thank you very much, English Rose, for doing that. Picking Gaz 1972. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Also, really good to see you all here. And also DJ Cuts has just seen that as well. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Now then, was there any other thing to mention before I get into the main topic tonight? Well, actually there is. Now, this is something that came to my attention on Telegram fairly recently. I think it first started yesterday, maybe the day before. But so Telegram, in my opinion, is a pretty decent platform. It's a pretty decent platform that, yes, there is a lot of bad aspects to Telegram here and there, such as it does a lot of censorship with specific Telegram channels from particular content creators or noticeable figures, which is a bit of a downer. But other than that, I in my opinion, is still a pretty decent platform regardless. Now, there is another problem with Telegram that the platform is going through at the moment, which are spam and scammers. Now, you might have seen these messages already, but people pretending to be people, whether it be myself or Sam Melia, Laura Towler, or uh, Kenny Smith, or people from or even the official PA Scotland channel, or anything like that at all. Usually they would have a message that pops up. In fact, I want to see if I can actually. I'm not going to share the screen because obviously it's kind of like private message here with that. But I just want to read this out as like a prime example of this. But what I will say to everybody, of course, is it's not really like a no-brainer. But obviously the message that comes through like that is definitely not me. But if you come across any more messages like these, as funny as it can be with the responses I have seen, I would definitely say just block them if you can, because I can tell you it's definitely not me. So I got an image here. Again, I'm not going to share the screen because it's from a person who's not really a public figure. So I'm not going to mention what the responses was. But what I will mention is I will read out the first message, and then supposedly my response I gave back to the person who responded back to the person who made this messaging or message just now. So the first message reads, hey, exclamation mark with no space whatsoever. How are you doing? I can see you are active on my channel. How's your experience here so far? Which is kind of a silly message, considering that the person who is writing to, obviously they would know, they would either know me or know of me, whether they spoke to me before, or we may have messaged back and forth here and there. But I think at this point, people are smart enough to realize that it's clearly not me regarding to these messages. But so that was the very first message, and I'll read out I'm not going to read out the response. I'll read over the response actually, but I'm not going to mention who that this person was from. But they basically respond back with, great, I'm loving all those bars of soap we've been selling made from certain substances to raise money for a global takeover. Twat. Obviously, it's a bit of a joke, like type of response, obviously, because they could tell that this is not me giving the message, but it's more like a spam or a scammer type of channel, on Telegram channel, that's pretending to be people like me, or even people like myself. So then there's, and I always see this response message keep popping up, which reads, oh, that's great. Thanks for contributing immensely on my channel. Together we will triumph over this in victory. Which, I mean, it kind of sounds like something that I gave in my speech back at the spring PA conference back in March. But even then, it's like I wouldn't say something like that in private with a person. They might think, I would imagine if that were to be me, and if I were to maybe message something like that, I could just imagine the person looking at that thinking, me, calm down, okay, like just get a grip on yourself. But yeah, like I keep seeing messages like that time and time again. This is not like the first time this happened. Like, it happened maybe back a few months ago, but I keep seeing this getting popped up recently. Obviously, people find it a bit funny because obviously it's clearly not myself, but it's from scammers, Indians. Sorry, my bad. But it's funny nonetheless regarding to that. So it's pretty, yeah. So. There was also an online petition to stop Skegness hotels being used for migrants. I wonder if that's meant to be like a follow-up to what happened at the recent, not like conference, but it's more like a group meeting with the council members of Skegness and the local residents who live in that area. Because I did see that video. If you want, we can maybe pop that up as well, just so we can have a further look into that. Because I think it was uploaded by Active Patriot, and I mentioned this before in another episode, but Active Patriot uploaded to his channel, which I'm assuming it was from another content creator who uploaded that to begin with. So he uploaded that just in case if that original video gets taken down. But from what I've seen of that video, it's pretty alarming, considering that you could tell from the council members just clearly do not care. They're talking to the general public in Skegness, people who are seeing these migrants coming into the area, and yet the council, even asking the council members with genuine, very concerned questions, because of course they are very concerned, because there have been cases as of late where some of these migrants would go to some schools, like primary schools, if I'm not mistaken, and sorry, got an itchy nose, and Of course, these migrants would be inappropriate towards the school kids, which of course is very alarming regarding to that. So with that, of course, some of the people, the local residents living there, of course, being some of them being parents themselves, obviously they would be, and understandably, would be very concerned about that. And you could just see the council members just really just don't give a fuck, basically. And it's really alarming to say the least regarding to that. It really is alarming. So, in fact, we might as well. Maybe I should have played this on the previous episode, but we might as well just have it here, and then we can have a further discussion with that. And then once we've done that, we'll then move on to an article by the BBC. Now, of course, the article in question is about the World Cup that's happening just now, and about the English team kneeling. I think we all know for a fact that what the kneeling is about, and who they're kneeling to. So we'll definitely have a discussion about that. So even though it might be something we might express or talked about before on the show, but again, because it's something that's happening just now, it would be, of course, it would definitely make a lot of sense for us to have a look into that together. So, but before we do that, let me have a look and see if I can find that video. I'm sure Active Patriot still has it on his channel. I want to have a look at just here just now, and then let me see. So right, okay, here we go. I found it. Now with this one, I'm not going to play the full video, but there will be some specific clips that I want to have a look into, and then we can have a look at towards the end of the video in terms of the local residents' responses to the council members, just basically up and leaving the overall meeting, and then we'll see from there. So right, let me see. I'm going to see if I can sort that, and that should be. Don't know why it's coming up as that. Whoops. Yeah, that should be all right. I don't know what's going on here. Right, okay, that should be all right. Right, let me just share the screen, and then we'll have a look at this video together. So, I heard a rumor yesterday that the main hotel in my village is set to take 150 scumbags. Jesus. I mean, it seems like it's happening all over the UK, which I mean is, again, it should be a really big red flag for a lot of people that these council members and of course the government are actually bringing these migrants over like more and more, which if you think they're going to listen to if you think like they're going to listen to the general public living in those areas, then I don't think that they're really going to listen to a single person whatsoever. So let me see if I can get this up here, and then here we go. So the video is called "Furious Residents Turn Out in Forced Council Meeting, demanding answers on influx of migrants in Skegness." And again, this is from Active Patriot. Yeah, so we'll have a look at this just now. So cross that. I don't know why it keeps on doing that. In a second. Here we go. Back to the very beginning. I'm going to full screen that. Right. So again, we're not going to watch the entirety of the video, but I think there will be some certain segments of the video I might want to have a look into, and then especially the quite the last part towards the end where you get to see the residents speaking about the aftermath of the council meeting, and then of course move on from there. So if I can have a look at this just now. So 3, 2, 1.
Heavenly Father, we just pray for your blessings upon this council. We pray for your blessings upon the decisions that we make. So, Father, we just ask for the gift of your Holy Spirit to lead and guide them this day into your will. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming to tonight's public meeting. These are held immediately before the full council meeting every month. The full council meeting starts at 7:15. So you've only got 15 minutes.
My name's Stephen Matthews. I live in Somerby Grove, Skegness. I think a lot of concerns here, we all know what it's about. But there is an underlying problem that we can all see. If there was an incident happening in this town today, where are the police to monitor this? We've got a police station that's shut at night. Where would you go? Are the police going to put more here? You know, we've got a lot of young males that's roaming around in groups. And I think, you know, with the street lights being on, this is an issue that does want looking at.
Okay, thank you. What's up to that, Steve?
If I could just pause that real quick. Again, that's the first for this video. Again, very genuine, very reasonable, and a very understandable question and asking to the council members. So, and then of course you'll definitely get to see some of the reactions from the council members themselves. Again, just trying to like dance around the whole question and not really answering it, which of course only just further infuriates the local residents here in this part of the video just now.
Can I just say that if I was you, I would hold your applause until the 15 minutes are up. Okay, Steve, the police are still operating and it's on the phone. Phone them up, they'll get it. Okay.
Sorry, well, let me see if I can get some subtitles on, because it can be a bit. I want to maybe go back to what the guy and the council members just responded that with, again with subtitles, because I think it might be a bit easier. So let's have a look at this again.
If I was you, I would hold your applause until the 15 minutes are up. Okay, Steve, the police are still operating and it's on the phone. Phone them up, they'll get it. Okay.
It's a response time. They've got to come from Boston or Lincoln. We have between 300 and 500 here. Nobody knows the exact figure. There is the response time. There's lots of residents here that don't want to walk out at night because there's no street lights and because of the crowds. This is the issue. All right, they're here, but something has got to be done to make the residents more assured, you know, that we've got a police here. This is a small town. We're not a city. We haven't got hundreds of police here. But if an incident does kick off, and it could do, we will not have the resources here to quell it. And that, I think, a lot of these residents are very concerned about.
Yes.
As you know, the mayor has called an extraordinary meeting for the 30th of November. As part of
The
that,
problem is now, though.
I understand, as part of that, the question has gone to the police who have been invited to that meeting to respond to how they will respond to the extra demands placed on them by groups coming into the interstate nest. So they've been asked that question, and hopefully they'll be able to respond on the 30th of November.
So again, from what we've just seen, is basically almost to me like a non-answer. It's like, oh well, all you have to do is just keep responding to the police, and then hopefully they might like show up. It's like, well, that's not helpful. You have local residents from that area who are majorly concerned about these mass migrants moving into that area. Some of these migrants, as we all know, are mainly fighting age men who would get together in groups or in gangs, and of course there's a high chance of a possibility that they might cause some kind of disruption or maybe some kind of criminal activity. I mean, again, we've seen this time and time again of these types of people moving into certain areas and then them committing these acts. It's of course it's a no-brainer that a lot of these local residents would be very concerned about this. And as I said at the start of this overall topic or even video, but there have been cases as of late. I'm not sure if it's in Skegness or maybe somewhere nearby, but again, there was a group of migrants who went to a school that had a lot of school kids there, and the migrants were acting very inappropriately with that. I think even with that, there was a video I've seen on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken, where there was a woman, I think it was a mother, if I'm not mistaken, who of course was very concerned, very furious, very upset about this, and of course the police or nobody was really doing anything to stop it. Well, absolutely nothing. So I just think it's rather hilarious seeing these council members talking about, oh, well, you just need to keep getting in touch with the local authorities and the police, and they'll hopefully do a single thing about it. I mean, we've seen time and time again that the police do absolutely nothing. I mean, again, a prime example of this, and I hate to keep bringing this up, but the grooming gang scandal. Look what happened to all of that. There have been multiple cases of these white working class girls who've been groomed, tortured, and raped by these absolute animals. And the parents, even the victims themselves, would go to the police and tell them, hey, this is what happened to me, and it's done by these groups of people. And it goes either two ways. Either the police don't do a single thing about it because they don't want to be labeled as racist, or they will do something about it, but they won't go after the perpetrators of who actually commit those crimes. Instead, they will actually arrest and make the victims look bad and accusing them of being racist, because the victims are trying to make out or war going full description of the perpetrators themselves, of course, being Pakistani men, and the police would arrest the victims instead, or even arresting some of the family members for that matter. In fact, there was a famous case of this. I can't remember where exactly this took place, but there was a father of the victim that happened during the grooming gang scandal, and the father said, "You know what? I'm fucking fed up with this. I'm going to do something about it." So he went to the house to confront the man that did this to his daughter. The police showed up and arrested the father instead. So once again, and I hate to keep repeating myself here, but what makes the council members think that the police are going to do a single thing about this overall thing? Because again, you can clearly see that even though it's only one gentleman we've seen so far who are deeply concerned about this, but you can just tell even from this clip just now that the council members just really do not care. They really just do not give a damn whatsoever. And it's disgusting. It really is utterly disgusting, but yeah, we'll just continue on from there.
I've got a couple of questions. Firstly, my name's Vanessa Bradford, and the address is St Clement's Close. When did the law change from hotels to HMOs? Because as far as I'm aware, you can only stay in a hotel for 12 weeks without having to move on to another hotel. And I have this on good authority. So why are we keeping these people in hotels for 11 months? Is it against the law?
Yeah. No, see, I actually had to look into this as well. I'm sorry, just real quick. I actually had to quick look at this as well. I know that is actually true. You're not allowed to stay in the hotel room for more than 12 weeks, she said, because at that point, when you stay at a place longer than 12 weeks, or in this case, like in the hotel room for 12 weeks, then it becomes, well, that's more like your living accommodation. Then that means you have to pay a sort of like council tax on top of that. But apparently the rules have been changed for these migrants coming in, that now, as the lady said there, that these migrants are going to be housed in these hotels for 11 months. Why? When there's a law that's been established that you're not allowed to live in a hotel or even a hotel room for longer than 12 weeks. I think it's 12 weeks. Hold on, let me just have for 12 weeks. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So again, it's something that really makes you think, doesn't it? Really makes you think.
Get some answers to that at a later meeting.
Why hasn't anybody asked this question before? It is illegal to stay in a hotel for more than 12 weeks, because then you're a resident, you have to pay council tax.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
I know I'm right. The government can't change the law without actually passing a law.
Yes.
And they haven't.
Yes, they have.
When?
It was passed.
Very quietly.
Yes, very recently.
Good point. Yeah.
Oh, very quietly.
It was passed very recently in May of this year. If you want to get the facts, you need to contact Matt Wall, who voted for it as well. And if you like, I've actually got the voting record.
That's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Gentlemen there, please.
So that was all changed back in May, which I'm sure people in the chat would think of this the same way, but it's quite. So they changed the law back in May, but of course specifically for these migrants. Again, I've never heard of this up until now. I'm sure you, if you're watching the show just now, probably never heard of this up until this video came out. So again, it's of course they did change this very, very quietly, and again, it's something that should raise a really big red flag for a lot of people. I think that definitely should raise a really big red flag right there.
So why is it all males that are coming over?
Very good question. Yeah, that's a very good question. Because as we established before, most of these migrants coming in are not. Cause the media always says, "Oh, well, these migrants are coming here. They're like men, women, and children." But we've all seen it time and time again. Again, Steve Laws bring this up. Active Patriot brings this up. All other nationals have brought this up as well. That most of these migrants coming into the UK are mainly men, or at least in this case, fighting age men. Most of the time, sure, maybe some of them are a bit younger, some of them are a bit older, but the majority of the time they're mainly fighting age men, which again really makes you think. It really makes you think, doesn't it?
We haven't got an answer for that. Please.
Well, where is the local MP? Why can't he be here? Because he told us it's been on.
Because it'll cost you a fiver.
This means wasn't even going to take place.
Councillor Brooks, I'll just let everybody know, obviously this is a concerning situation for myself as well as everybody else. Myself and Carl, we've arranged a meeting this week with the MP, the leaders of both councils and a lot of senior officers. We're hoping that they'll all turn up. It's later this week. The answers, the questions you're asking us now, we shall be asking them, the MP. Because obviously we're the town council, we haven't got the answers, they've got the answers. So if we can get them there, we're going to ask them these questions. That's why these questions are pertinent. And we're going to ask them that. And then at the meeting on the 30th, hopefully, we'll have their answers. Now, whether their answers is, I don't know. We'll tell you that. Whatever they tell us, we'll tell you on Thursday.
Can we be at that meeting?
You can be at that meeting. That meeting is a one-item agenda, and the agenda is the asylum seekers in the
And is it going to be
hotel.
the whole evening? And where is it?
It's here. It's in here. And it will be, if it's 2 hours, it's 2 hours, if it's 3 hours, it's 3 hours. And the public will be able to ask more questions than they can tonight.
And when is that?
Well, it's the 30th of November. Right, the lady here, please.
Can I ask, instead of putting it off for 2 weeks, why isn't it happening? Why have we got to wait 2 weeks for a meeting to be done and more assignments moved in?
Right, a simple answer to that is we have to give 7 days notice for an extraordinary meeting.
So do it in 7 days time.
We did it in 24 hours.
It can't be done.
Why? But why not? Can I just say, you just said to them, you need 7 days notice. It's 2 weeks you've given, so why don't you do it in 7 days?
All protocols are laid down. All council protocols are laid down. You cannot change them.
I do understand that, but you haven't quite clearly said 7 days, and now you're waiting 14 days. Can I ask another question very quickly? With regard to the health and safety of the residents of Skegness, my name's Katrina Dix, I live on Becky Close on the Richmond Estate. Now, with regard to the safety of people, I've been informed, reliably informed, that they're not even getting health checked when they're being put in these hotels. They're not health checked. The staff are having to wear PPE, and in addition to that, they stand out to sore from wearing flip-flops, but they're not getting health checked. So what viruses are they passing around to all the residents? That needs to look into, not in 2 weeks' time, tomorrow, not in 2 weeks.
I'll get to this gentleman in a minute here, but no, again, it's a very valid point because do you remember, of course, like 2 years ago now, almost 3 years now that I think of it, but the whole COVID-19 outbreak happened, and the British government were very persistent that everyone should stay indoors because we're going through a viral outbreak and all of that. And even I think maybe about like half a year later, maybe a full year later, everything started to get a little bit back to normal. But of course, there was the mandatory regulations that happened where people had to wear face masks and coverings, get vaccinated, and all of that. So it's pretty interesting that when it comes to these migrants, even during when the whole COVID thing was happening, when the migrants started coming into the country, never mind the fact that Britain was in complete lockdown, like the whole country was in lockdown, which means that nobody can get in or out. But these migrants keep still coming into the country. Again, you just cannot make this up, can you? And of course, even like the current migrants coming into the country, again, they're not being health, which is again a pretty fair point to make. They're not being health checked. They're not checking to see like who they are, where they originated from. They're just it's a case of just opening up the gate and just letting them all in. You know, just like, oh no, just come in. It's completely fine, and not going through any type of strict procedure as to like who they are and do they have any possibility of any illnesses or like viruses and all of that. Because again, they're from completely different countries. They're from the third world, but sure, they may have stopped in another European country here and there, like, you know, France or Germany for that instance. But again, these are pretty understandable, concerned questions that the local residents are bringing up here, especially something all to do with that. But I mean, of course, like we've established before, that the council and all the people bringing these migrants here, they don't really care, do they? They just do not give a damn whatsoever.
What has gone wrong here? We've got these migrants coming in. They're coming from safe countries, France, Belgium, Germany, wherever they're all safe countries. We're having the risk of taking them across here on the channel. Now then, you look at it this way. How many of them, which are coming in from war zones, are banking up on the Taliban, ISIS, and then another terror group that could come in here, undercover, we don't know. And these hotels, I've heard there's only 3 hotels, there's 6 hotels. And how many more? And not just that, they're coming in, they're getting doctors to look at them. We can't get a doctor in this part of the world. We have to wait about 2 or 3 weeks to get a doctor. They come in to get it. They're getting £45, I believe, a week. They don't have to pay council tax, they don't have to pay heating, they don't have to pay rent, they don't have to pay gas or water. Something's got to be done. This lady here, please.
We will put that to the people when you check.
But have you read what background they come from? Do you have any records of them? Do we have?
I don't need the government have that information. Yes, sir.
Mark Rucker, St Helens Place. Okay? I've heard reports where they're hanging around the schools. I mean, you just said in your own words, we don't know what information is about these people. They're running around our schools with our kids in them schools, and they're coming out on their own at night. And what if some child stays behind because the school teacher's got detention, or they're playing basketball, whatever you like to call it, and they come out at night, get hurt. Are you going to be responsible? Are you, or any of you? Come on, answer it.
Very good point. Again, another great point.
opinion about it, said anything about it. The police took two away. And they were taking around the children practice football. They were taking pictures of 8-year-old children. That is true. Last question is, thank you. I've got a question.
Yeah, so what you've noticed there, by the way, is that the council members are going to be like, basically asking, okay, like the last question. So they know like these questions are going to be a bit uncomfortable, and they just can't answer it. Either they can't answer it or they just refuse to answer it. Which, I mean, what does that tell you exactly? What does that tell you exactly? So we'll just continue on from there.
You've got 3 empty seats, Councillors, are they Tories? Because if they are,
No, they're not.
I want all of these to run against you, because you're not doing nothing, and we'll go independent.
Cultural backgrounds approach women differently, took women differently. So I wouldn't particularly want a daughter at the moment. And I'm born and bred in Skegness, and I've walked the streets and always been safe. Another thing, medical resources. The paramedics locally are pulling their hours out. Pilgrim, there's no hardly any translators. It backs up all the system. You know, the elderly and vulnerable can't get doctor's appointments. And the last thing, we are a seaside resort. How are we going to promote Skegness to tourism?
Well, that's actually a very good point in terms of that aspect of it. I mean, these migrants coming in is probably going to affect tourism, like even way bad. I mean, just look at places like Blackpool, for instance. I remember Blackpool was like was a pretty big touristy type of area in the UK. I don't know if it was always the way it was, what it's currently now, or maybe it was like a way better tourist area, like maybe like back in the day. But I mean, from what I've seen, and I would imagine that the migration would play a big role in that we've seen the major decline of places like Blackpool, and of course these migrants moving into Skegness, which again, Skegness, from what I've seen, is a pretty touristy type of area in England. Because these migrants keep coming in, it's probably going to affect that like even more. So yeah, it's a shame. There really is is majorly a shame. Of course, obviously that should be like a major like problem, but what should be more concerning is that the kids that might get involved in this, and probably there might some form of case happen because of these migrants keep coming in. But again, just hopefully that never does happen. But if it does happen, I don't want to say it, but I mean, just don't be surprised if you see like a future case in Skegness that deals with the migrants and of course the school kids. I really hope that never happens, but again, because of the times we're living in just now, all I'll say is just don't act, don't be surprised,
How can we promote the town?
Councillor Anderson, please answer that one.
I'll try. This council has no responsibility over the asylum seekers in this town. They have been placed here by the Home Office.
But aren't you in a position
And
to do good?
hang on a minute, please. They have been placed here by the Home Office because all the detention centres are overflowing with migrants, because the system, the asylum system, hasn't had the funding it needs.
It's such bullshit, isn't it? Such bullshit. Well, then why keep having them come here to begin with?
Have you seen Marston Hall weekend? Where it's supposed to be. We don't live in Kent. And that's why they are being sent around into hotels.
But just to bring up a point about that, I mean, like, so of course this gentleman here will blame like the Home Office, but is it true in saying that because of the council members, aren't they still the ones that would give the okay by the Home Office? So the Home Office comes in and says, look, we want to keep bringing these migrants into the country. We haven't had these migrants in this area of Skegness. You know, you being the council members, would you be okay with this? I mean, you think that the council members will still give the okay when it comes to bringing these migrants into the country, but no, apparently they're just oh no, it's nothing to do with us. Blame the Home Office, even though we're probably the ones that still give it the okay. But oh well.
With the Red Team and this government.
Yeah, this is the part where it gets like really chaotic now because of the answers given by the council members.
Let's not shout.
Please, everybody, please, listen. This is why I've done that petition, right? Every single one of you in this room, every one of you, and outside this room, and everywhere in Skegness, this is confusion and frustrating for you. I'm as angry and frustrated as you, and I'm as passionate as you, and that's why I did it, right? Please take your voice on that bit of paper. If you can get as many signatures as you can, the more signatures we get, the louder we shout. And when I say we, you put me in this room to represent you, and that's what I'm doing, and that's why I've done that, supported by my fellow councillors. So don't shout in this room. We can use those names, please, listen. We can use those names, every single one of them, whether it's 100,000. Please, listen. I know how frustrated you are, but we need those signatures. We haven't got the answers.
It's only 3/4 of the brain for us. That's not bothered.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please quieten down?
Can I just ask you a question?
The chamber, the council meeting is starting. We're now 2 minutes late.
You made the problem with this.
There's a meeting just to discuss the situation we've got
Everybody,
on the
don't forget
30th.
to sign my online petition at 600 signatures. And I've also got a UK Parliament one, and I've got 5 signatures, and it's taking it to
My name is Wendy Waller. I live in Wayne Street on Hastings Drive. My question is, has Matt Norman been invited to the meeting? This is the town we come to and live in. This is where we come to. We've been handed this and we've told everyone to sign it.
So for those that don't know, but the woman that was speaking there, this woman here, so she, of course, was given a question, of course, doing the same thing that everyone else does, give their name, where they're from, and of course the council members for some reason were just like, well, why are you here? Like, that's not entirely near Skegness or something along those lines, and of course, the local residents were just like, well, what does that have to do with anything? Like she's technically part of Skegness and she's trying to ask you a question. So again, it's like the council members are just trying to dance around it, and not really answering the questions given. Which, I mean, that should really tell you something, that they're not really for the local residents. They're really just what's that old expression? But throwing them to the wolves. I think the old expression might be, but But yeah, it's it's really worrying. Now we're just coming towards the part. We might as well just finish the video in its entirety, kind of. But we're just coming towards the end of the council members basically just had enough of it and then decided to just end the meeting and then just leave, which only just further infuriates the local residents because they just see it as that the council members just simply just do not care whatsoever. Yeah, and this is them just gathering and then just leaving. And that's it. And that's it. Holy shit.
Okay, this is Barry, and we're videoing more. Well, it's not live, but we're videoing outside.
So this is, of course, the aftermath of the meeting, and of course, the videographer decides to ask the local residents and ask them what they think of the overall meeting. I'm only going to play this segment here and then move on to something else entirely because we're just coming up towards. Just check the time again. Almost 6:30. Holy crap! And then once we've done that, we'll move on to the article quickly, and then we'll see if there's any questions coming into Entropy, and then we'll see from there.
The council officers at Skegness. This is Vanessa, one of our locals. Can you tell us your reaction to the meeting tonight?
Absolutely disgusted that they've no answered for us. Absolutely disgusted that the mayor walked out. I don't care if it is protocol. He should have stayed. He knows the feeling of the people of Skegness, at least he should do.
Yeah, can you tell us your general feeling on how you think the public thought about this?
I think 100% behind me.
All the public, or, you know...
Everybody that was here is disgusted with the meeting.
And how many hotels was discussed, do we know, on this question?
No, there wasn't really, but we know that there's at least 6, and they've probably moved them into Butlins now as well.
And, you know, honest opinion, what do you think happened now after this meeting?
Absolutely jack shit. Sorry. Am I allowed to say
We'll
that?
be able to beat that bit out.
I mean, she's not wrong.
Oh, all right, nothing really, because from what I can see, they don't seem to want to help us.
I don't necessarily think it's that.
I mean, we have several people around us. This is just a few left what was in the meeting. Anybody else tell us what was your general feeling about the meeting tonight?
Well, I was disgusted.
One at once if you can.
Can I go? I was disgusted at the way they made us. Well, that's it. It's council meeting. He couldn't even give an extra
I mean,
5
tonight
10.
was a general council meeting.
I agree with that.
We had literally 15 minutes to bring up your disgust at what's happening in Skeg.
And over 100 people there.
Well, we had at least 100,
probably,
yeah.
And should be.
Bad as there tonight. It's caused more chaos, more anger than what initially was in the first.
I mean,
and when he said to one of the residents who's come from Wainfleet, it's nothing to do with them.
Yep.
That's what
I mean, what is your general feeling? You thought the meeting went
It
tonight?
affects the whole constituency.
Waste of time.
I
Yeah.
spoke to a couple a councillors, and they basically say it's down to the Home Office. They're having everything.
It's an
said on
excuse.
us.
They
Yeah,
don't
now,
want to fight.
woman,
And honest opinions, what do you actually think will happen?
Nothing.
Either tonight or after the 30th?
Yeah, and they're right. What I mean, I can understand the point about that. That it's a gigantic waste of time. They just think nothing's really going to get done. And you know what? I don't blame them for thinking that, because in that meeting they were expecting the council members to actually give a damn, but you can just clearly tell that they just don't. I mean, the mayor, who was the first one to walk out, was like, "Well, that's it. I'm done. You know, we're like meeting's over." So I mean, what does that tell you exactly? It really goes to show that who are the people who are completely against the British people regarding to what's going on just now. So I love how one of the gentlemen were in the council members who were just like, well, you shouldn't blame us, but you should blame the Home Office, right? But aren't you still the same people who are given the okay for these migrants to come to the area? Because, you know, the Home Office, I mean, sure, they can bring these migrants, but they can't just basically tell each councils, hey, we got these migrants, we're just going to bring them into your area, so it's your problem now. You know, that's that type of idea. It's ridiculous. But yeah, that's we move on from there. So what we would advise is if you haven't done so already, please give the video a like and give it a follow. Of course, be an active patriot. I think there's another channel that originally came for the video, because again, it's not Active Patriot's original video, but it's more like a re-upload type of thing. So, but I would definitely check it out if you can with that. So, let me see here. Diversity is finally hitting the rural areas. The pressure cooker simmers. Yeah, I've talked about that in the last episode. That in fact, there was an episode I talked about this prior to that, where there were talks about bringing these migrants into rural areas because it's for, you know, fairness and diversity and all of that. We think, you know, maybe that might not happen now, but it certainly will happen maybe later on down the line. And in the previous episode, I talk about this very issue, that more of these migrants are actually moving into these rural areas, because again, it's meant to be a lot more inclusive and more fairness for the migrants coming in. Basically, it's code words for trying to erase the white population living in those areas, because as we know, these rural areas and all across the UK are very white majority. So of course, people who are very anti-white would look at that and think, well, we must do something about that. But we're not going to outright call erasing the white populations there, but we're just going to call it as fairness and multiculturalism helps us with these migrants coming in. You know, it's just such utter bullshit. Really is utter bullshit. Active was in Skeggy last week. I was with him. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Good. Yeah, I think he was traveling for like going to one of these hotels. Because he did a live stream about this not too long ago. But yeah, English rules real quick. On the positive note, it is good to see people stand up and saying we don't want this. Yeah, no, that is very good. And it's actually one of the few videos you watch and does give you a little bit of a white pill. The showcase of the people living in those areas, clearly they do not want this. They're concerned about these migrants coming in, and it clearly tells that they do not want them here because of whether it be what they've heard on the news, whether they've seen or heard from other publications or online or anything like that at all, or maybe they've seen stuff like this, like first-hand experience, and they're just like, no, I don't want this. I am not in favor of this whatsoever. Of course, you get some of these fucking pro-immigrant twats who are just who, by the way, are not from areas that have majority migrant areas, but they live in these like ivory towers type of areas, as I call them. So basically, these are people who are very pro-immigration, but whenever a question gets asked to them, well, do you have any much migration in your area? They would tell them, oh yes, we have like one Chinese restaurant and one Pakistani corner shop or something like that, and they call that diversity. But they've never actually been in these areas. More specifically, 9 times out of 10, they're mostly working class areas, and never actually experienced the problems what people living in those areas, you know, are actually going through. Like, you know what? Hopefully, you understand what I'm saying here. But the people who are for immigration and pro refugee are in complete either denial of the problem or just lying to themselves, or are actually part of the problem. of this whole anti-white agenda, which to me just makes them complete utter scumbags in my opinion. But it's to ensure complete and total saturation. Yeah, that's what it pretty much is. I agree. It does. Yeah, the Lily Allen types. Yeah, no, I agree with that type. Yeah, the Lily Allen types. God, like Lily Allen. I remember like I can't remember if it was one of these. I think it was a refugee camp she went to visit, and she apologized to some refugee boy, and but because of the harsh treatments that boy and his people get on a daily basis. Of course, the boy that she was apologizing to, sorry, it turns out that the boy was actually related to like an ISIS or Taliban member or something like that. I'm not entirely too sure, but I don't think it was a specific terrorist figure, but it was something to that effect anyway. But again, really makes you think with that, doesn't it? Really makes you think with that. So let me see here. Entropy still working, it seems, which again is really good. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that in the link again. So for those who've missed it, I'm going to be using Entropy a bit more from now on. So if you want to ask me any questions, just feel free to ask them in the Entropy link that's in the chat just now. It could be an unpaid question or it could be a paid question. Or if you just want to send me a donation through Entropy, you can if you choose to. Please don't feel obligated to do so. It's entirely up to yourself if you want to send me any donations through Entropy. I think from now on, if you want to send me donations, I think Entropy would be the best platform moving forward in this case. So I'm definitely going to be using Entropy a lot more regarding to that. Anyway, so I'm going to be, time is it now? So just about past. Right. I do have an article to have a look into. So we'll just have a look at this really shortly and then move on to something else. Maybe the last part could be like a question, like Q&A type of thing. So of course, after this article, once we finished it, we'll move on to Q&A. So if you want to, again, ask me any questions, the link for Entropy is in the chat just now. So feel free to ask me any questions if you'd like to. So anyway, I'm just going to open up this page here. And again, it's a BBC article. And then we'll have a look at this just now. So from the BBC Sport, England, Gareth Southgate says players will take the knee before Iran World Cup 2022 game or match. So, of course, this would have been either yesterday or today. I'm not really a fan of football. I don't really follow football that much. But again, here's another case example of the English team taking the knee because they're standing against racism. In fact, even it says here, England players take the knee to highlight the fight against racism and inequality. I mean, it just shows just how completely cucked our football really is. Well, when I say our football, I mean like English football, Scottish football, Welsh football, you name it, that type of idea. And can you just imagine all of the other countries who are participating in the World Cup this year? Could you imagine like all of them who don't take the knee and they're just laughing at the England team because they're just like, what the fuck are you lot doing? Like, how completely cucked of a nation have you really become? It's a shame. It really is a shame. Anyway, Gareth Southgate says his England players will take the knee before Monday's World Cup opener against Iran. The Three Lions have carried out the anti-racism gesture before their match since the death of George Floyd in 2020. Oh, lordy, here we go with that. No surprise there. They have decided to continue with the gesture during the tournament in Qatar after recent talks. And the quote from them, it's what we stand for as a team and have done for a long period of time. Well, I mean, it's not really a long period of time. You've been doing this since, 2020 or maybe just last year, so get a grip on yourself. We feel this is the biggest, and we think it's a strong statement that will go around the world for young people, fuck off, in particular, to see that inclusivity is very important. Look, Gareth Southgate, whatever your name is, I'm just going to tell you this right now. You're being used by the establishment because everything that you're doing there just now is exactly what the establishment wants you to do. And all the other teams, like maybe the non-progressive types or aka more based type of countries that don't really support the kneeling as such, all they're doing is they're just laughing at you. They're just completely laughing at you and thinking just how completely cucked you have become as not only as a football team, but really as a nation. They're just laughing at us at this point. They're laughing at us. Premier League players also took the knee before matches following football's return from the COVID-19 shutdown in the summer of 2020. It was then decided ahead of the start of the season to use specific moments throughout the season to take the knee rather than making the gesture at every match. Let's see, to see clarification of the One Love armband. Oh god, yeah, the One Love armband. That's just like, that's gay. Like, okay, like that's just really gay. Like, again, just showing the solidarity that, oh, we support LGBT rights. We're in Qatar, so look how progressive we are. It's like, again, they're not, like, the people of Qatar are not going to look at that and think, oh, well, that's pretty stunning and brave of them. No, they're just going to think, oh, well, okay, so you're a country that promotes degeneracy, right? That's fantastic. So another reason to not like your country or not support you lot whatsoever. So, but again, meanwhile, the Football Association is trying to get clarification over whether captains will be booked if they wear the One Love armband in matches in the World Cup. I mean, it's not even like an edgy statement. It's just, again, everything that you're promoting is exactly what the establishment wants you to do. And this is something that's I would imagine, trying to be pushed in countries like Qatar, who clearly do not want that whatsoever. But anyway, but FIFA announced new armbands in partnership with 3 United Nations agencies on the eve of the tournament. The Football Alliance Association wrote to FIFA in September about the armband, but didn't get a response. Their position was that they were willing to take a fine. Okay, that's fantastic. They were hoping that they would get an answer later on Sunday before the match against Iran on Monday, but of course they did not, and that's pretty much the end of the article. So again, not really much of a surprise there, but again, it just shows how completely cucked we've become, especially when it comes to stand up against racism and inequality. Like, fuck off. Again, as I said, they're basically code words for just anti-white. That's exactly what it is. So really no surprise there whatsoever. And it'll be interesting, to say the least, with the future games coming up. So it'll be really, really interesting, to say the least, with the future games. So, right then, since we finished the article, we might as well just move into the last segment of the show, of course, being 20 minutes long before Tea Time with Sam and Laura starts. If people missed it, I'll just post the link for Entropy again. So this is the part where, if you want to ask me any questions, be it paid or unpaid questions, please feel free to ask me those questions just now. And you can ask me those questions in the Entropy, which of course the link for that is in the chat just now. So please feel free to do so if you want to for the last 20 minutes of tonight's show, and then everyone should move on over to Tea Time with Sam and Laura. One in the chat, if you've watched any matches so far, 0. Also, basically, yes. I think I've not watched a single match. Again, I was never really a football fan myself to begin with. It just really was never really into it. But yeah, it's just, I'm not really that bothered. It's just filled to the brim of propaganda now at this point. Let's see, Gamma Savage. I find it shaming that they kneel whilst wearing the national colours. It's the action of a conquered people. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's basically a sign of submission, I think it is, when it comes to kneeling. So, but nowadays, all these progressive types want to make it as if, like, no, it's a symbology of standing against racism and equality. Yeah, shut up. He has to go to the pub as we don't have a TV license. Fair enough. Let me see here. Rightio. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. I wonder if it pops up with. Right. That's how it is. But that's only if I wanted to see it on. Well, that's a bit weird. Right. Anyway, that should be fine. I was watching Zelensky instead. Zelensky. I mean, it's that whole thing with Zelensky. I just think it's just, how can people honestly support the whole Ukraine situation, where there's been videos that have been popping up of Zelensky just doing all kinds of things and not really taking the situation seriously. But then, of course, we're trying to act on all serious about the whole situation, but then we'll do something that completely contradicts that. I don't know how people can support the whole Ukraine thing. I mean, it just really, to me, it just boggles the mind, really. It really just boggles the mind. Anyway. Oops, they don't mean to do that. 1 second. Just seen another I've just seen that just now, another post from Millennial Woes about his upcoming Millennial, which will be happening this year. And I think he's just doing a lot of announcements of who's going to be appearing on Millennial, which I mean, it will be pretty interesting to say the least with that. I mean, we'll see if one of our guys, maybe like Mark, might appear on Millennial, but we'll definitely see with that. I don't know if that's going to be confirmation, but it'll be interesting with that, to say the least. I love football in the 80s and early 90s when God damn it, hold on 1 second. When the players were white and mostly British. Yeah, that's fair. Martin W, are you going on Woes? Well, I mean, I don't see myself being on Millennial anytime soon. I mean, mainly for a start, I mean, Millennial Woes never really heard of me regarding to that. So I mean, and him and I never really have interacted with each other, or never sent messages or anything like that at all. So, and even for everyone else in the chat, I mean, I would say it'd be nice to mention to Millennial Woes, or if you want to get people on Millennial, maybe ask Chief Moody or anyone like that. But again, I don't think I don't think I'll be appearing on Millennial at any time soon. Not that I don't want to. I mean, if Woes would like to have me on, I'll be, it'd be my pleasure coming on. But I mean, I think he doesn't really know me as a content creator, because again, I'm not like a big known name or anything like that at all. I mean, Woodlander, see, I'll be on Millennial. I mean, yeah, I can understand that, because Woodlander is a pretty significant figure within the national scene. He's quite well known, and I mean, it would be understandable he would appear, like someone like Woodlander would appear on Millennial, because again, he's quite well known. So if I could just imagine, like, Woes giving announcements for Millennial would be like, coming on the show, the golden one, golden one, that's great. Woodlander, hey, that's great. Mark Collett, that's surprising, like, great, yeah. And then it's like Chief Moody, yeah, who? It would be something like that anyway, but in my opinion at least. But I don't know. I mean, I would like to appear on Millennial, but I mean, again, I don't see that anytime soon. But maybe I don't know about next year, maybe the year after, I don't know. But again, it's entirely up to Woes if he would like me have me on Millennial at some time in the future. So all he has to do is really just message me, and then of course we'll see from there, and then we can have No Chance will be on there. Again, I can understand No Chance being on there, because again, No Chance is a lot more well known. He's certainly a lot more well known than I am, to be quite honest. But yeah, I can understand Woodlander or No Chance being on Millennial. So I mean, that would be like a no brainer with that. So I think people like Computing Forever will be on there. GF Gerpy will be on there. Again, I can understand them being on. So hoping Black Pill Pigeon makes an appearance again. I mean, we'll definitely see with that. Chief, you're as big in big in the national scene. Oh well, thank you, Ragnar. Thank you very much for that. I'm kidding. I meant in the chat. Oh well, fair enough. But again, I wouldn't be that surprised of seeing No Chance on Millennial, because again, he's a lot more well known than I am. But that's just my opinion with that. So, hey, Chief, don't play yourself down. You would be a welcome addition. Oh well, thank you, English Rose. I greatly appreciate that. It's a joke, Chief, mate. Well, again, yeah, that's just me when it comes to jokes. Right, when it comes to Black Pill Pigeon, that's fair enough. I mean, at first I don't really see it as a joke, but then when people tell me, I'm like, oh, right, okay. So I'm a little bit slow that way in regard to that, but yeah. Anyway, so I want to check and see if there any questions come through in the nothing yet on Entropy. Oh, that's completely fine. I mean, at least Entropy still works, so that's a big plus. So I'm definitely going to be using this a lot more in the near future. And about what about Scottish Privilege? I mean, I don't know about that, but but what I will do in the meantime, maybe I can put up a picture that might be a teaser for maybe the next episode of what I really want to cover for the next one. I was going to cover it for tonight's episode, but I figured, well, I might want to give a bit more time to maybe look into that, and then maybe do a full-fledged episode about that particular topic. So what I want to do is I want to showcase an image just now that's going to be like a bit of a for the first time ever, I think, on Mood of the Nation. like a teaser trailer for like a future episode to come. Let me see if I can get an image of this. Now, this came to my attention by St. Harrison, because he posted this not too long ago, and I had a quick read of this, and I thought I could definitely talk about this in a future episode. This would be really interesting. Yes. Okay. Oops, I don't want to. Is there a way I can maybe get the text off? What's this? Right, okay. Let me see if I can get this. Oh, right. Okay, I'm going to that. Right. You learn something new every day, folks. So that's really good to see. Right. Okay, so that should be fine now. Okay, then I'm going to close that as I don't really need that anymore. Minimize that. I don't need that anymore. That's fine. Excellent. What's this from No Chance? Did you see Graham Campbell got kicked out the drug death meeting in Glasgow? Big post in Rasta only. Oh, 1 second. Only showing up for pictures and told to get the fuck out. I did not see that, No Chance, but that would be quite amusing to see something like that. But yeah, Graham Campbell. I think Graham Campbell, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that the guy who is a guy who came from Jamaica, but when he moved over here, he's Scottish, and he's just confused why people would not see him as Scottish, but people see him as like a black Jamaican man. It's like, well, because you're from Jamaica, you said you're from Jamaica, so obviously people are gonna make that assertion that yeah, you're a Jamaican. Yeah, maybe you're a Scottish citizen, but you're definitely not ethnically Scottish. It's absurd. But we all know for a fact of what he's doing regarding to that. We all know for a fact what he's doing. But anyway, but yeah. So in terms of confused would be correct, yeah. So let me just share this image right now as a short teaser trailer for the next episode. Hi, Chief Moody or Clive. Just mentioned. Moody just mentioned you. Oh well, there we go. Right, I'm good. Here's the image as a teaser trailer or like a teaser for the next episode. Anyway, I'll post it right now. 3, 2, 1. It'll be this gentleman right here. Now, I'm not going to mention. Well, I'll mention the name of the gentleman if I can get this up here just now. Some of you are probably wondering who the fuck is that. Well, let's just say it's going to be a very interesting topic, to say the least, regarding to this. I'm going to see if I can quickly get the name of this gentleman up here just now. And then St. Harrison again, just so I can get the name in a second. And here we go. So the name of this gentleman on the screen just now, in fact, I might as well just read the post here, and then I'm going to move on from there. So again, this is like a short teaser for the next episode, for episode 125. So this man right here is Hans Kohn. It's like John, but Kohn, Kohn, so like John, but with a K. A Jewish immigrant to the U.S. who pioneered the academic study of nationalism. But hold on. Kohn is the man responsible for popularizing the term civic nationalism as distinct from ethnic nationalism. Prior to the Second World War, the terms race and nation were used interchangeably, e.g., the French race, the Irish race, etc., etc. Now, St. Harrison was the one that showed that posted this on his Telegram channel. So, and I had a quick read of this, and I thought I could maybe talk about this on a future episode. Now, I know people might think, "Oh, here we go, Chief Moody talking about civic nationalism all over again," but I think it'll be really interesting, to say the least, to talk about someone like that who pioneered the idea of civic nationalism, especially him being a Jewish man. So, there we go. So again, not going to say any more than that, but again, just only just only sprinkling, just showcasing a little teaser for things to come in the next episode. So that's going to be something for the next episode 125, which would be this coming Sunday. So be prepared for that, folks. Be prepared for that. Time is it now? Right, 6:51. Okay, so let's get right into basically making the show to a close, and we just posted some of the links. You can tell by the cut of his jib. Yeah, of course from that. So I don't know if not St. Harrison, sorry, if English Rose have done this already. Check out St. Harrison's channel. Great content. Yep, there's a Telegram channel for St. Harrison. Definitely give him a follow. English Rose or even Gamma Sandwich. I'm not too sure if you guys have done this already, but if you wouldn't mind, post a link for the Odyssey or DLive link for Sam and Laura's upcoming episode of Tea Time with Sam and Laura. If you could post that in the chat just now, that would be greatly appreciated. And once we've posted that, that's going to be the end of tonight's episode. And I just want to see if anything came through with Entropy. Again, nothing, but it's nice to see that Entropy is up and running still, which is really good. So I'll definitely be using that a lot more. Perfect. Hop over to Tea Time with Sam and Laura at 7 p.m. There's the link for their show coming up, the Odyssey link, which again, really good. Thank you very much, English Rose. I greatly appreciate that. Excellent. Right. And lastly, we'll end the show tonight with the quote from or a message from Woodlander, which reads, "Nationalism is racism. Racism, a nation is the people." Yes, that is true. A nation is people. That's entirely true with that Woodlander. Excellent, excellent stuff. Now, with that being said, I'm going to be ending the show tonight. So again, thank you very much for coming along. With Entropy, it's still live at the moment. So again, if you would like to throw some shackles at my way, again, if you really want to, Entropy is the way forward with that. And of course, if you want to show any support for the show through donations, just send a donation through to Entropy. That would be much appreciated. With that being said, thank you very much for coming along, and I shall be back with episode 125 this coming Sunday at maybe 6, maybe 7. Again, I'll keep you guys updated with that, but I'll definitely have it on Sunday, and hopefully there will not be any changes or anything like that whatsoever. But yeah, that's going to be it. That's going to be it, folks. Again, thank you very much. And I'm just going to see if I can get this up here and then get this banner up here. Of course, support Patriarchal Alternative. That would be appreciated with that as well. Excellent. So I'm going to see if I can also get a 1 second here, an outro song for tonight's show. If I was thinking about a song that I think Joe Marsh wanted me to play on the show before. In fact, I actually think I did play it on the show before. Let me see if I can get this here for a moment. 1 second. Right, 1 second here. That's not that one. Nope. Let me see here if I can get this here. Just 1 second, folks. Let me see. It should be along here somewhere. Actually, you know what? We might as well play this. As a celebration of Jodie's new album that just came out, I might as well just play a song within her album. I think the song is in her new album that just came out. But again, as like a bit of a celebration of that album coming out. So hopefully people made their purchase with that and show your support for Jodie K. I'm just going to play this song as the outro. So with that, folks, thank you very, very much for coming along. Please come back for Sunday's episode if you can. That would be much appreciated. And with that, thank you once again. This is Chief Moody signing out. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your Monday evening. And of course, enjoy Tea Time with Sam and Laura. And I'll see you all next time. Thank you all very much again. Take care and good night. Thank you.
How can I begin to talk to you about my people and my kin. Why do you despise me, so quick to criticize me, and yet you call yourselves the victims? The fall of Western man is a looming fate for the Western lands. The time we have at hand is running out. Diversity means nothing more than replacing us at the very core. If you don't believe me, put the TV on. We'll soon be gone. You're a racist, is what they said to me. You know your hate is nothing but bigotry. You know you're nothing more than an evil white supremacist, is what they said. So tell me, how does love for my own kind equate to hatred towards another? It's only natural that bluebirds fly with other bluebirds, is what he said. So get your head out from in the sand and look around. Is this the world our fathers gave their lives to defend? We have responsibility. We all share the duty to keep the children safe from harm and protect them. The rise of Western man relies on the faith of the Western lands. So keep your spirits high and don't give up. 'Cause it's not too late, we still have time. We can make things right, we can turn this round. We will once again live life the wholesome way, the traditional way. But we need to remember who we are and be proud of the things we've achieved this far. We have to carry on the legacy of our people. For we believe in nature and beauty and innovation and creativity. A strong society has a strong foundation in the family. How can I begin to talk to you when you refuse to even listen?